Hey guys, it's Jonathan from Submaster Reviews, and I'm really excited to bring you the list that we've been promising you for quite a while now, the top 10 movies of 2017. Now, this is a mixed bag. Some of these are Oscar nominees that I managed to see. Some of these are just my favorite picks, but I went ahead and just sampled the best I thought of on both sides, whether it be an art house film, whether it be just a mainstream blockbuster, or like I said, an Academy Award nominee. I could care less. As long as it's good, then it could possibly be on this list. So the top 10 of the year what you're going to hear is just the things that I personally thought were the most noteworthy films of the year. And I'm really excited to bring you this. We've been working on this for a while. Just being able to see everything is a really big hassle sometimes, especially when you don't have a lot of time. So that being said, we're going to jump right into this, starting with our number 10 pick, The Disaster Artist. James Franco really crafted like a really small but enjoyable masterpiece with this one. His portrayal of Tommy Wiseau was incredible. Dave Franco, his brother, was absolutely fantastic as this guy who's just following around this crazy dude who apparently has the answers to the universe because he really doesn't care. He's going to make a movie. Doesn't matter if it's shitty or whatever. He's going to go out there and he's going to make that film. And there was something heartwarming about that element. Overall, it was a movie about dreamers for dreamers. About people who want to go into Hollywood and make it, even though that they're told that they're never going to be anything, and it shows you that you're wrong. Of course, the movie wasn't as good, or not the movie, but the movie that the film is based off of and the making of was not very good. That being said, it's still beloved as a cult classic, and people are still talking about it to this day. You won't ever see me buying The Room on Blu-ray, though. That's for sure. On to our number 9 pick, Thor Ragnarok. I think the Thor franchise is one of the only movie franchises I know that gets increasingly better with each installment. That being said, the first one was really good. The second one I thought was a little bit better. However, I did think maybe the first one had a little bit of character development, blah, blah, blah. Anywho, the third one was without a doubt the best. It brought laughs from start to finish. It had great action. The script was really smart. It was interesting. It went into the weird part of Thor, and I think that's what we needed, because people got bored when he was on Earth, because we see Earth all the time. It's the backdrop of every Marvel movie, but with this, it was almost like Thor on the backdrop of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm glad to say that it fit much better in that setting. Okay, on to our number 8 pick. This was the one that shocked me the most. It was a surprise remake. 99% of the time when you go into a horror remake, it's pretty bad, it's subpar, it's just a poor example of filmmaking and Hollywood just running out of ideas. That is not the case with it. I think his name is Andy Muschietti, who directed Mama, which was really creepy back in the day. I think that film's a little underrated. He was brought to the helm to direct this film, and it is absolutely great. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is absolutely frightening and terrifying. It just gets under your skin. He was excellent in this film. The soundtrack was great. The sound editing, I can't, stress enough how great that was in the film. Also, all the kid actors are fantastic. It's so rare to find a kid actor who can actually act, and it seems very convincing without just, seeming like they're acting the part. I bought all the characters in this film. It was excellent. I loved it. It was scary. Matter of fact, I just watched with a bunch of friends and people were literally freaking out in their seat. This movie is an amazing example of how to do a Stephen King adaptation, and it is arguably the best one, alongside The Shining. Next up, our number 7 pick is War for the Planet of the Apes. Like I said, it's very rare that a franchise gets increasingly better with each installment, but I guess 2017 was a lucky year because the prequel Planet of the Apes franchise is definitely one of the best sci-fi franchises out there in modern days. Just in terms of quality, it's consistent, it gets increasingly better. Andy Serkis was absolutely fantastic as Caesar in this film. And this film took a slower approach to the franchise. The first one was kind of like the origin story of necessarily how the apes came to be. The second one was more or less about how apes, survived in this world that's been kind of killed off by a virus. And the third one just brings it all home into kind of, by the end of it, it's pretty much where Planet of the Apes would have picked off the original one back in like the 60s. This movie was a lot slower. It was focused on character development. And it really was a great introspect of the character of Caesar and just how broken of a character he is and how much tragedy he had to suffer. That being said, this film just, it blew my mind. I don't think I enjoyed it that much at the first viewing, but really sitting back and thinking about it and just watching over it and just accepting it as it's not your typical blockbuster. It's too modest for that. It's a earnest, very richly directed. I can't say enough about this film. It's fantastic. And on to our number 6 spot of the year, Get Out. Get Out might have been the best surprise of 2017. It was so different and new. No one had ever seen a film like this before. Nothing has ever blended horror, suspense, comedy, and drama so seamlessly together. It's its own new thing. I guarantee you that there are already films that are copying Get Out, or people are writing in stuff like that as we speak. This film touched upon the horror genre as well as a lot of social commentary, which is really surprising. Jordan Peele absolutely knocked it out of the park. He wrote an amazing script and directed this film incredibly. It was eerie from start to finish, and I can't say enough about this. This film absolutely lives up to the hype, and I'm really excited to see what Jordan Peele does in the future. The next one on our list, number 5, is Logan. Now, for years, fans have been begging for a R-rated Wolverine movie, to get the hacking, the slashing, and blood, and just to show Wolverine and his brute force rage that we all love and we were waiting for, and we finally got it with this. This movie is violent, it's bloody, it's very sad. In ways, it's kind of like a Western. In a way, it's kind of almost like Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood, but with Wolverine, and that was a fantastic choice. This film just really jumps into that character arc of Old Man Logan very well, and it's written very well for the screen to adapt it to make it believable. It was great. It was emotionally, it pulled at my emotional heartstrings a number of times, and the end, had me in shambles. Don't want to spoil it for you, but you could probably know what it is by now. But anywho, that was just a fantastic film. It's definitely the best X-Men film as of now, and definitely one of the best Marvel movies ever. On to our number 4 spot is All the Money in the World. Now, Ridley Scott has had some success in directing the Alien prequels. Lately, for the most part, they've been really good, although I guess a little bit of mixed reception. Prometheus was really enjoyable. I really loved Alien Covenant. I thought that was the perfect balance of having an alien movie and also like a philosophical movie about life and where we came from, blah blah blah. But anyways, Ridley Scott went ahead and directed this side, I guess, kind of like a side project in a way, in comparison to his other films, All the Money in the World, and it focuses about the story of Paul J. Getty's son getting kidnapped, or not his son, but his grandson is kidnapped, and he refuses to pay the ransom money, even though he is the wealthiest man at that time on the planet. And the movie just focuses on his grandson's mother trying to convince him to pay the ransom money and just going out of her way to get her son back. And it's just a very interesting tale. I think if I can draw a parallel to this film, it was almost like Zero Dark 30 in a way. It felt very much like that and how it was based in reality, but this film is just very interesting. Not only that, this movie was a technical achievement. As we all know, Kevin Spacey did some not so okay things, so they removed him from the movie entirely. Problem was, the movie was only going to come out, a little over a month and a half later. So they brought in legend Christopher Plummer to replace Kevin Spacey, and they reshot all the scenes with him, and I have to say, it's seamless. You can't even tell that it's a different film. There's one little flaw I found at the end of the movie that I kind of caught that was cool, but that wasn't their fault. They couldn't have, edited that out. All in all, it was just a great movie, and if you like biopics, this is definitely the one to see. My number 3 pick is, yet again, another great sequel, Blade Runner 2049. Blade Runner 2049 was an absolute masterpiece. What can I say? This is exactly why we go to see science fiction movies. It was thought-provoking, it had beautiful cinematography, visually it was stunning, the performances were great, just everything about this movie came together. It stood on its own as a Blade Runner, as a science fiction movie, and it also served as a great sequel to the classic film Blade Runner that Ridley Scott directed back in 79, I believe, or 81, one of the two. But anywho, it was just a great sequel. It really surprised me. I can't believe it. It doesn't feel like a sequel. It feels like its own calling. This is going to be a science fiction movie that will be remembered for years to come. Guarantee you. Now on to the second pick, the runner-up for the Stubmaster, I guess, Best Picture of the Year award, and that is Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Wow, this film was very interesting. It was a combination of genres. It was funny, it was emotional, it was absolutely heartbreaking at times. But overall, this film was just incredible story. It's about a mother and her daughter meets an untimely end in a really bad way, and the police are refusing to do anything about it. So she goes ahead and makes these billboards about her daughter's death, and it draws attention to the public and gets the police centered back in the case. And the movie is just about her against the police and the tension that's there, as well as her and the rest of the town. It's just such an interesting portrayal of, you know, the Southern lifestyle and the culture that's around there and how people behave. And I'm from the South, so it's very accurate in that sense. But overall, just really enjoyed the hell out of this one. There was only one movie that I enjoyed a little bit better, and that is Molly's Game. My God, this film was incredible. This film reminded me a lot about The Big Short. It was fast. It had an incredibly smart script, great performances. You name it, this movie pretty much had it. The story was so interesting, and just to see someone rise, it's basically about the rise and fall of an Olympic skier. You know, she can't ski anymore, so she goes ahead and she tries to find a new avenue of revenue, and she ends up is in charge of making the games for poker. And she makes a lot of money off that under the underground, and the story is just so interesting, and the side characters are so dynamic. And Jessica Chastain as the lead was an excellent pick. I'll be really surprised if she doesn't get Best Actress for this. But anyways, that was a fantastic film, and that is the best film, I guess, coming from my corner, Stubmasters from 2017. So guys, how'd you like this video? I know it's a little long, but, you know, had to cram in our top 10 picks of this year. Hopefully you guys agreed with us. Maybe you didn't. If you didn't, please let us know what you disagreed with. You know, let us know what your top 10 or top movie is of the year. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. You can also buy our merch at cafepress.com/Stubmasters. I'm Jonathan for Stubmaster Reviews. Have an excellent day.